Immunology Insights, Basics and Beyond. Chapter 1: Innate versus Adaptive Immunity. Marcello here. Welcome back to our exploration of the human immune system in my podcast Immunology Insights, Basics and Beyond. In the intro chapter, I briefly introduced myself and the aim of my podcast. Today, finally, we are diving deeper into two major components of our immune defense: innate and adaptive immunity. These two branches work together in a dynamic and complementary way, forming the backbone of our body's defense against diseases. So let's talk science. The immune system is a two-pronged approach, which is often compared to a well-organized military force. It has soldiers on constant patrol, ready to respond immediately to any breach in our defenses. And it has also specialized units trained to handle specific threats with precision. These two strategies correspond to the innate and adaptive arms of the immune system, respectively. The innate immunity is like the first line of defense, always ready to spring into action at the first sign of trouble. The adaptive immunity is more like a highly trained special ops unit capable of recognizing and remembering specific pathogens and neutralizing them with targeted precision. From an evolutionary perspective, the innate immunity is the older of the two systems, found across a wide range of organisms, including more primitive ones like invertebrates. This ancient system has been conserved throughout evolution, offering a broad, non-specific response that is crucial for the survival of even the simplest life forms. The adaptive immunity, on the other hand, is a more recent evolutionary development, found primarily in vertebrates. It is believed to have evolved from components of the innate immune system, providing a more specialized and long-lasting defense. Interestingly, the first evidence of adaptive immunity is observed in jawless vertebrates like lampreys and hagfish, which possess unique immune cells that function similarly to T and B cells in more advanced vertebrates. For now, I will give just a rough overview of the elements of both innate and adaptive immunity. In the later chapters, we will go more into detail and learn more about the specific cell types and their respective functions. Let's start with the innate immunity, the body's rapid response team. The innate immune system is our body's initial response to invaders, kicking in within minutes to hours after an infection begins. It's non-specific, meaning it doesn't care what type of pathogen it encounters, whether it's a virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, or toxins. The response is largely the same. Key components of the innate immunity include physical and chemical barriers, like our skin, that acts as a physical barrier, while the mucous membranes trap pathogens before they even can enter the body. But also the enzymes in our saliva, sweat, and tears, along with the acidic environment in the stomach, create an inhospitable condition for many microorganisms. Then we have phagocytic cells. Neutrophils and macrophages are the primary phagocytes. These cells patrol the body, engulfing and digesting foreign invaders. Neutrophils are fast-acting and abundant, rushing to the site of infection to neutralize threats, while macrophages serve as both attackers and cleanup crews. We have also natural killer cells, or NK cells. NK cells are a unique group of lymphocytes that can recognize and destroy virus-infected cells and cancer cells without prior sensitization. This very interesting cell type is a good candidate to use for immunotherapy approaches against viral and cancer diseases. We will discuss the various immunotherapy approaches in a later chapter, however. Of course, we have also general tissue inflammation symptoms. When tissues are injured or infected, they release chemicals like histamines that trigger inflammation. This response increases blood flow to the area, bringing more immune cells to the fight and creating conditions less favorable for pathogens. This is why you experience during a tissue inflammation swelling, heat, redness, and pain. It actually helps your body to fight the infection. The full-fledged inflammatory response, of course, then includes both innate and adaptive immunity with the respective cell types involved. Last but not least, we have the complement system. Complement system is a group of proteins that work together to tag pathogens for destruction, enhance the inflammatory response, and directly lyse bacterial cells and others. Basically, by tagging pathogens, they become more tasteful for the phagocytes, hence the technical term opsonization. Now, let's come to the adaptive immunity, the body's tailored defense. While the innate immune system is very fast acting, the adaptive immune system is slower to respond but far more specific. It has the remarkable ability to recognize and remember specific pathogens, allowing for a more effective response upon subsequent encounters. This is also the basis for how vaccines work, by training your adaptive immune system to recognize and respond more efficiently to certain pathogens. The key components of the adaptive immunity of course include the lymphocytes. The stars of the adaptive immune system are the B and T cells, which are both types of lymphocytes. B cells are responsible for producing antibodies, which are proteins that specifically target and neutralize pathogens. T cells, on the other hand, come in two main forms: T helper cells, which assist other immune cells, and cytotoxic T cells, which can directly kill infected cells. There are more T cell subtypes, like T regulatory cells, as well as interesting T cell-based immunotherapy approaches. We will, however, explore these aspects of T cells further in later chapters of my podcast. Then we have, of course, antigen presentation and recognition as integral parts of the adaptive immunity. The adaptive immunity kicks off when dendritic cells, a type of antigen-presenting cells, capture antigens from pathogens and present them to the T cells in the lymph nodes. This interaction is highly specific. Each T cell receptor is designed to recognize only one particular antigen. Once recognized, the T cell becomes activated and proliferates, creating a large army ready to fight the infection. This mechanism, so the prior uptake and processing of antigens by dendritic cells and the highly specific presentation to T cells, are necessary fail-safe mechanisms ensuring that T cells do not go rogue on the body's own structures but only attack foreign invaders. Then we have memory cells. One of the most remarkable features of adaptive immunity is the creation of memory B and T cells after an infection has been cleared. These cells remember the pathogen and can mount a faster, more robust response if the pathogen reappears in the future. This memory is the cornerstone of effective vaccines, as they create a population of memory cells that is ready to strike much faster the next time the same pathogen tries to invade your body again. This explains also immunity against a number of diseases, once the body has experienced them. Basically, the first time the disease has time to spread and show effect. The immune system clears the disease and forms memory B and T cells. The next time you are exposed to the respective pathogen, the memory cells can act so fast to clear the disease that you do not even experience the effects. Of course, innate and adaptive immunity work together. While it's useful to distinguish between innate and adaptive immunity, the reality is that these two systems are closely interconnected and mutually supportive. The innate immunity often paves the way for the adaptive response. For instance, the inflammatory process initiated by the innate immune cells helps recruit adaptive immune cells to the site of infection. The adaptive immunity refines and strengthens the response initiated by the innate system. The antibodies produced by B cells can, for example, help to tag pathogens for destruction by innate immune cells in a process known as opsonization. A good example of this teamwork is the response to a viral infection. Initially, the innate immune system detects the virus and slows down its replication, giving the adaptive immune system time to prepare a more targeted attack. As the adaptive response kicks in, cytotoxic T cells start destroying infected cells, while antibodies neutralize the free virus, preventing it from infecting new cells. So why does it matter to understand the innate and adaptive immunity? Well, Understanding the distinction between innate and adaptive immunity isn't just an academic exercise. It has real-world implications for health and disease management. Vaccination, for example, relies on our knowledge of adaptive immunity, enabling us to train the immune system to recognize and fight off specific pathogens. Or autoimmune diseases often involve a malfunction in the adaptive immune system where it mistakenly targets the body's own tissue. And last but not least, cancer immunotherapy is a cutting-edge treatment that harnesses the power of the immune system, in particular the adaptive response, to fight cancer. As we continue throughout this podcast series, we will learn in detail how these two branches of the immune system play crucial roles in everything from fighting infections to responding to vaccines and even in the development of cutting-edge therapies. To conclude, in this chapter we have explored the fascinating interplay between innate and adaptive immunity, two critical components of our immune system. The innate immune system is our first line of defense, providing a rapid but non-specific response, while the adaptive immune system offers a slower but highly specific and long-lasting defense. Together, they form a robust system that protects us from the myriad of threats that we encounter daily. Next time, we'll dive into the various organs like bone marrow, thymus, spleen, and lymph nodes that are central to the function of our immune system and, for example, serve as production centers, training grounds, and battlefields for our immune cells. Until then, remember that our immune system is always at work, protecting you in ways both visible and unseen. Before closing, I have a small request. If you enjoyed my content and want to hear more, like and subscribe. It's a small step for you, but it helps me a lot. So see you next time and thank you for listening.